First, I found most of my editors on online jobs. I have worked with people from Upwork, people who are specific specialty video editors. They do a better job in terms of video quality, but that does not directly translate to better results. So I found that if I can find people and train them myself, it's much more affordable. They have fantastic work ethic and they're part of the team. So you're creating a real asset because part of your system is the people who power it. So I posted a job post to filter for high quality editors because there's a lot of Filipino editors. Make sure to include a sample task. I always do this when I'm hiring editors. Just 10 or 15 seconds of the first the first few clips of the VSL, and this is how you can see a little bit of what they're capable of, and you could filter down even more. So you might get 100 or 200 applications on the job post, and from that, based on the sample tasks, either you or your operations manager will go through and pick 10 of them, right? It's about 10%. Then you'll take the top samples. If it's 50, then it's 5. If it's 10, then it's 100 total people. Then give them another paid task. Well, this time it's paid. The first one was just free, just to get their foot in the door. And now you give them a 60-second clip to edit, and you'll see, if they do a good job or not. So you're bringing them deeper into the hiring funnel. And then finally, you take the best 2 and have them edit a full, I would say 5-minute VSL. Don't give them a 30-minute one, give them a 5-minute one, and give them some feedback on the 60-second one so that they can get a little more in line with what you're expecting and see how they take feedback and if they can implement it. And by the end, you'll have the best editor or the best 2 editors out of the batch, and then we start to train them. Okay, so this is how we set a solid foundation of who we're hiring. And then this is how I train my editors. So I did weekly review calls where I would go over their work, and I would go scene by scene, not for the entire VSL, but for the key parts, the key copy elements, right? The big problem, big promise, problem mechanism, solution mechanism, and the product intro. That's where the scenes are the most important. So I would highlight those scenes, and I would tell them what I like, and I would point out how to improve it. So I'd compare it to a competing VSL, another direct response VSL in the space from Neuro or Dainley or one of these guys that ran a similar product. And I would tell them what I liked about that VSL. So I'd do a weekly call. These can be as little as 10 minutes. Just get your whole creative team on board and show them what you're expecting. Less stock footage. These are the things I kept reminding them of because these are very important. Less stock footage. There can be some, but no very obvious stock footage, especially when it comes to people. The stock footage can really take away from the message. More documentary style clips. So from news reports, from YouTube videos, from educational videos, from TikTok or from Instagram. UGC, but not specifically made for ads. UGC just from videos that went viral or videos that are performing well in the related topic, in the related niche. And then always use 3D animations when showing the mechanisms. So for the problem mechanism, if it's let's say knee pain, you want to show a 3D animation of the knee cartilage wearing out and the bones grinding against each other when you're talking about, the real root cause of knee pain and how the cartilage wears away over time. And that makes it land much better, with much more impact, and it's absorbed by the subconscious when they're not just reading it, because when you're just reading it, it's words, it's ideas. When you attach a vivid and clear picture to that, it's like giving a metaphor, and that makes it stick and makes it much more accepted, and they can now see the problem mechanism, see the solution mechanism, and it makes it real for them. And that gets a lot more buy-in, right? So they now start to believe those mechanisms and start to accept them as true. And then obviously correlate the scenes with the script. And this is especially important for emotions. So when we're showing positive outcomes, the dream outcome benefits, what they're going to get, we want to show happy people, sunlight, bright scenes of people eating together, having fun, partying together, whatever is the dream outcome. So if it's for skincare, a beautiful older woman. If it's for fitness, a healthy, strong man. And then for the tension scenes, when we're explaining the problem mechanism, when we're explaining the problem, what can happen if nothing is done, we want to show more dark and gloomy scenes. Again, don't go overboard with this. You don't need to go clickbank style, nightmare story, bonanza, because that doesn't build brand equity. That lowers your customer experience and will result in higher chargebacks, lower LTV. But there's nothing wrong with reinforcing those tension scenes, because we do want to build tension. And all the big brands, even the most brand friendly ones, they build tension when they call out the problems and they show the problem situation vividly. So just to review, match the scenes using emotion to the script. So get the editors to learn that by constantly reviewing this. And eventually they'll learn which parts of the VSL, which parts of the sales flow are meant to be positive, to correlate positive scenes with that part of the script, and which are meant to be negative. So some key things about teaching your editors: focus on hooks, because the hook is like a compact version of the direct response sales process. It captures attention. It has to be relevant. It has to be engaging. It has to call out the right audience, and it needs to funnel it deeper in the funnel using curiosity. And all that needs to be done with 2 or 3 scenes. So if an editor is very good at hooks, it's very likely they'll be a very good VSL video editor. So show them the type of scenes you're looking for. show them winning ads, either yours and your competitors. I would recommend show them both, and explain to them why it works. Okay, why this scene has such a high hook rate. It's because it's showing a certain thing. It's correlated with the headline. It has action. It has curiosity. We don't get a full resolution of what's happening, and it leaves a cliffhanger, an open loop. So examples like that, explain to them why the hooks work. Again, 3D animations. This is for the hooks. Use them in the hooks. They're very engaging. Split screens of the problem mechanism and the problem, the solution mechanism and the solution, before and afters. Lots of action, color, and movement. So for pain, highlight the pain with red highlights, circles, arrows, and have some kind of action in the hook. Don't have static, kind of boring hooks. If you look at Gundry or Miami MD, they have something very interesting, either pouring a smoothie down the sink, because it's somewhat related. It's tangentially related, right? It's related to food. It's related to health. Or they'll be like frying an egg with some ridiculous, like, I don't even know. You got to look at Gundry. They do some really ridiculous stuff. Like they'll throw a potato at the fridge and be like, should you be eating potatoes? And they'll just kind of have it very loosely related, but still related. Because if there's incongruence between the headline and the visual, you're going to get drop off. You're going to get people bouncing. There needs to be congruence for the subconscious mind to say this is safe. If there's incongruence, then something perks up and then you lose them. And they don't want to watch your video. So when you're giving feedback, focus 80% or more of your time and energy on what the video editors did well. So point out the scenes you like, reinforce the positive behavior with just calling it out. Okay, just tell them I like this and send them a screenshot of it. Say, great job with this. This is exactly what I wanted. This works so well. And then 20% or less, tell them how to improve. Don't say this is bad, this is wrong. Just tell them how you'd rather have them do it and say, this is okay, but here's how I actually want it. Here's a better way to do it. Here's a more effective way. Here's a way that the video will work better. So they're working together with you for a positive net outcome for the whole business. And then reward them for positive actions. Sometimes, yes, when the video is a winner, reward them for that. But again, that's not something they're directly in control of. So that's not going to impact their behavior that much. That's just going to boost morale, right? Which is still important. But when they attach a great 3D animation to the problem mechanism, you can give a bonus for that. If they just do the whole video really well, matching the scenes to the script, give bonuses for that. Give bonuses for their actions to reinforce that mindfulness that they have while they're editing, to put their attention on it. So I created a very simple system that you can use. I would highly recommend, don't overcomplicate it. Don't use any of these crazy softwares to manage the video process. Even Asana, our efficiency and output was lower with Asana than it was with like a simple Google Sheet. So here's what I recommend using. If you're just starting with building out a VSL creation system, or you're just starting with new editors, I would have something as simple as this. The name of the assignment, whether it's a VSL, lead, a batch of hooks, the script, the audio, the product information, this is pretty much just resources that they need. Just link it to a Google folder. Little drop-down cells where you can communicate very clearly. So do not start yet. You're still working on the assignment, ready for editing. And then they're editing it. Then it's ready for review. You request a revision. Finally, it's approved. And then it's uploaded to Facebook and launched. So this is a very efficient, simple, and fast, high output system that can be set up in seconds. Literally just copy and paste this. I'm going to have this in the description, the whole SOP. And then just show your editors how to use it, because if you overwhelm them with a super complicated, like 3 tabs in the Google Sheet and Trello and Asana, it's just going to take away from what actually matters, which is the quality of the video and the speed of output. And then they upload the finished ads to a specific Google folder, keep everything organized, name it well. And then the payouts, I like to show the payouts, have a little competition in there. All the editors are looking at who got paid what, who got bonuses, in a friendly way, of course. You don't want to create a whatever. So set clear expectations. This is very important. So for me, it was 5 minutes, should be done in 24 hours. So if it's a 15-minute VSL, you have 72 hours. If it's a 5-minute VSL, it should be done in a day. This was reasonable because my editors were highly skilled, very trained, and very motivated. They were on board with the team. They were part of the business. And this can be quite intense for newer editors, especially if they're just learning VSLs. So, but it's certainly possible. I mean, if you want to push the pedal to the metal, it's certainly possible. You can ease up to 48 hours or more if you really want to take your time and teach them. But I wouldn't get too bogged down with making everything perfect. I would just kind of push it, and then the output will rise in quality as they improve their skills and they get faster. And then what I would do is minimum 5 hooks for each VSL you test. I was testing a lot of VSLs because I realized the biggest leverage comes from whole new VSLs. The algorithm loves fresh content and it'll find the buying pocket. So it's not so worth it. I stopped testing leads for the VSLs. I would test hooks. And if it's a winning VSL, just continue testing hooks. But otherwise, test a whole new VSL. That is, unless you're doing like 60-minute VSLs like Gundry, they'll do bashes of hooks and leads. And their leads and hooks will be made together. So if they're doing like a potato lead, they're going to do potato-related hooks. So funny, their hooks. They're so ridiculous, but they work very well. And then the result is I was able to create and test one or more. It was actually more than one, but on average, I would say about one VSL and 5 hooks per day for months, to the point where I had so many winning funnels and products that would be tested on Facebook, and at a relatively low scale, like maybe spending $200-300 a day, were very, very profitable consistently. So they could definitely be scaled, and they could certainly be tweaked to be even more profitable. And I had so many of these products that I couldn't even run and scale all of them because I didn't have the processing and the infrastructure and the fulfillment to actually make that happen. But I still scaled multiple products very well, all because of the strength of VSLs and the rest of the funnel, but primarily VSLs. And so this is how also you can expand your business. This is how you can scale. So the two ways to do it are vertical and horizontal, right? Vertical, if you have a big market, big niche, just make more VSLs for the same product, even the same offer. But ideally, if you already have a winning VSL and you have your messaging dialed in, do horizontal by going to different angles. So make a whole new VSL for a new angle and a whole new one. That's why you see Miami MD, Gundry MD, all the Golden Hippo stuff, Kellyanne and Accenture brands or whatever they're called. They make one flagship VSL per product per offer, right? So they have one offer. Let's say it's Kellyanne's bone broth. There's one VSL that's been running for years on YouTube and Facebook. And that's the best way to do it, because Facebook will match your best asset to your best buyers, right? So if you want to target new buyers, make a whole new VSL. But there's no need to. If you already have one VSL cracked, it should be able to scale big time and last for months or years. Okay. So once you have a winning VSL, either move on to a new product and build out a whole new offer, or target new angles. So for back pain, that's what I did successfully. First was a general angle, which was highly, highly profitable. A big VSL that lasted for more than a year. It's still running. The guy who bought the brand is still running it. And then I expanded out to different types of back pain. The same product, the same funnel, even the same advertorial sometimes. And I would switch up the advertorial based on the angle, but it still worked with the general one. And that's a great way to expand as well, target different angles. So just to review the key takeaways: hire based on performance, not on resume, not on how presentable they are, not on how well they speak. Hire based on the sample tasks and their actual work, their actual output. Okay. I'm talking about the editors. Then communicate often. This is key. Any type of communication, really, just check in with them, review the videos, send them some clips, send them some screen recordings. And this makes sure that they know that you're on top of them and you're aware and you care about what they do. Because there was times when I kind of just trusted the editors and didn't check in with them for weeks, and the quality would drop. Not because they don't care about their work, but they wouldn't have the same level of pressure as if, the boss is, checking in on them, giving them feedback, doing calls with them, actually cares about them. If you don't show that you're caring about your editors and the quality of work they do and kind of their workflow, they're not really going to care either. So it's important to communicate often to keep that quality high, and a lot more positive feedback than negative. Ideally, no negative. Just tell them what they did well and what they can do better. And then show them real examples of VSLs that are scaling and winning, both yours and competitors, so they have reference points that are constantly being reinforced, and reward them for the positive actions. So give them bonuses when they do a great job. The more systematized your system is, the simpler it is, the faster you can pump out VSLs. Don't get caught up in all the fancy softwares. This is just my recommendation. And again, this is mostly from the perspective of doing shorter e-commerce VSL ads. If you're doing big, 60-minute VSLs and you have like a 7 or 8 figure a month company, then of course you're going to need a more comprehensive system. But the 80-20 of testing VSLs is a certain baseline of quality and then just pumping out as much quantity as you can. Because, the difference between 2 5-minute VSLs, if you have decent copywriters, decent structures, it's not going to be that different. So whether you spend a month putting together the VSL or 24 hours, if you do 24 hours, you can test 30 VSLs per month, whereas the other guy's testing 1. No matter if that guy's VSL is 20% better, you're still going to find more winners and you're going to scale. So don't get too bogged down in making everything perfect. Focus on output, because if you're sticking to proven structures, the win rate's there because you're sticking to proven direct response principles. And then just keep checking in to make sure the quality of videos doesn't drop, and use the system. Continue to give feedback to your editors and learn yourself by taking a look at what's working out there. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you get something valuable from this. I'm going to include it in the description so you can access this sheet and also these basic points. I'm going to be making more videos that are a little more comprehensive and in-depth here and for school on how to actually put the whole workflow together and how I do my weekly calls with the editors and all that stuff. And maybe give some examples because I have screen recordings of my meetings with my editors. So I think maybe I'll share those either here or in the community. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. Do you have any questions about this or anything more you want to learn about? I know this was kind of a quick overview of the system, but I think the meat and potatoes was there. Any specifics, just ask in the comments. I'm happy to reply, or DM me on Instagram. And yeah, enjoy. Peace out. Have a great day. See ya.